What a week in the FAI Cup. We're looking at two massive games, Friday and Sunday. Friday night, of course, it's UCD, the First Division champions, making the visit to Oriel Park in Dundalk to face the Premier Division champions, kind of. They're 12 points ahead, Dundalk, with 4 games left. A goal difference of plus 25, so they'll be a confirmed champions probably in their next match as well. Then on Sunday at Dalyman Park, Cork City really under pressure at the moment to make the move up to Dublin to face informed Bohemians who've won 9 games in a row at Dalyman Park. Now, a man who's going to be planning to score some goals on Friday is UCD striker Conor Davis, and he joins me in studio. Conor, hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks for having me.
Thanks a million for coming in. Is your middle name Florine?
It is, yeah.
Where does that come from?
It comes from Romania. I was adopted from Romania. I came to Ireland when I was 10 months old.
Okay, what's the background to that?
Not much background. It was, my mum and dad came over when I was 10 months old and took me back to Ireland, and there's not much more to it. Nice,
okay, so that's where the middle name comes from?
That's where it comes from, yeah.
The rest of the name is very Irish?
It is, yeah.
So you came to Ireland when you were 10 months old. When did you first start to realise you were quite good at football?
Not until I was around, I'd say 10 or 11. I originally played for Knockline. That would be my local team, and I made the switch to Temple Oak United because we could never beat them, and when you can't beat them, join them. I moved to them and we won everything. Okay,
so you're at that age where you start to realise, okay, I'm quite a good footballer here. Were you always a striker? Because I'm always interested in young people. They tend to have been a right back or a keeper even, and then they become the position that they actually play now.
Yeah, no, I wasn't always a striker. I was a centre mid. I was a centre mid when I moved to Temple Oak as well. It was the manager, Alan Kinsella, who tried me out as a striker, and I think the first season I played there, I think I only scored about 4 goals, and the next season I scored 24 or something. So I have him to thank for moving my position.
Of course, and the most recent time I saw you scoring a goal was a couple of Fridays ago at UCD Bowl when UCD won the league 1-0 down against Finn Harps, and up pops Conor Davis to score the equaliser, the point you needed to win the league. What do you remember about that night?
It was such a good night. You know, I was lucky enough to play for a schoolboy team where we won a lot of trophies, but like nothing can compare to winning the league there at the Bowl. It's hard to put into words. It was such a good feeling.
What do you remember about yourself and the goal? Because they had just scored and everybody's thinking, oh no, you're going to have to go to Longford to win the following week, and up pops Darragh O'Connor off the bench, plays you in, great first touch, and in it goes.
Yeah, no, it was a great pass by Darragh. To be honest, I was expecting it to go out wide to Dan Tobin. I think he was making the overlapping run, and I was expecting a cross to come in. So when Darragh fizzed the ball into me, it was purely instinct. I didn't have much time to think about it at all. I just took the touch and hit it, and thankfully it went in.
What was that feeling like, knowing that it was probably the goal that won the league? Well, it was the goal that won the league, but at the time you didn't know that because there was still a few minutes left, of course.
Yeah, no, it was a great feeling at the time, for, I'd say, maybe 15 or 20 seconds. I was buzzing on top of the world, and then it was more, let's just hold out, like we just can't concede now, and if we can get another goal, great, but just don't concede.
You guys all went, obviously, to go and make sure that you had to keep the point at least, because at that stage when you're up because you've just scored that goal, you're going to go, right, well, on a normal match we're going to go and score again to try and win, but you were like, okay, we don't actually have to win this one, and you had to defend quite well for the last few minutes to keep them out, because had they scored again it would have taken things to the final day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it wasn't a pretty game anyway. It was really scrappy. I don't think either team had a real grip of the game. It was a game of half chances. I think we defended well for most of the game anyway. They scored from the set piece, obviously, which was it was hard to take, but we showed great resolve to come back and get the goal. Yeah,
no, you guys had a couple of interesting nights out. We spoke to Liam Scales and Josh Collins last week. You must have enjoyed that party, considering the fact as well you'd only just come into the club in the summer, and I think you've 5 league goals and you helped the team clearly win the league after Georgie Kelly left, but nice to let the hair down and have a bit of a party.
It was, yeah. We had 2 really good nights. Obviously on the Friday night we won the league. We were back at the student bar, and then on the Saturday night we went out as a group as well, but then our heads were back on it because we know we still had Longford to play, and obviously this big game on Friday. Yeah,
the game against Longford was a 2-2 draw. UCD were 2-0 up, and Longford got 2 goals. I think the equaliser from Dean Dillon was about the 87th minute. You were an unused sub, so I'm sure the manager Collie O'Neill was keeping your legs for this cup game, but what was the game in Longford like, the last league game of the season?
We didn't play as well as we usually do. I think as a team we know that. We went 2-0 up in the first half. playing okay football, but at half time we knew we weren't out of third gear. You know, we had a few more levels left in us, and in the second half they were up for it. Obviously it was a really big game for them, so they came out all guns blazing, and credit to them, they got 2 goals, 2 well deserved goals, but you know, we scratched that off. There's no point in thinking too much about that now. We have another game. Yeah,
I know from speaking to Collie O'Neill the Sunday after you won the league, I was asking him about this Longford match and, you know, how much importance he placed on it, and he made the point that if you guys had won that match, you would have matched Waterford's points total from the previous year, and they were full time on a much bigger budget with bigger players in inverted commas. So was that something that would have been quite disappointing, that you dropped the 2 points late in the game?
Not really. You know, it would have been great to equal Waterford's points tally from last season, but I think for the average age of our team, we've done exceptionally well this season already, so I don't think that doesn't affect us too much, the points. Okay,
and you were straight back to the training pitch. Of course, that First Division fixtures last weekend were on Saturday, so you were straight back to the training pitch this week, leading into Dundalk on Friday. How's the week gone so far? We're speaking, of course, on Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, so far so good. We trained on Monday and we trained yesterday on Tuesday. We'll train again tomorrow. The spirits are high. Everyone's looking forward to the game.
Yeah, the FAI Cup run has been quite interesting, because you had that unbelievable match in the last 16 where you're playing against a non-league team and you're behind, and you had to have a massive comeback to get through to the quarter-final. What do you remember about that round and what happened there out in Peamount?
Yeah, that was a tough game. CIE were really up for it, and credit to them again. They went 2 up, probably well-deserved goals. We didn't start well at all. We were slow out of the blocks. Luckily, we went into half-time 2-1 down. Yo-Yo got the goal back for us, and then I think it was in stoppage time, nearly one of the last kicks of the game. Jay McClellan popped up and got the equaliser, and we won 6-2 after extra time. Yeah,
it's weird how things work, that if that equaliser didn't come, you're knocked out of the cup, you're not playing at home in a quarter-final against Waterford and winning, and now you're not getting ready for a semi-final against the best team in the country. And it's those fine margins that I love about the cup. It's the small things like that make these runs actually possible.
Yeah, 100%. I think cup runs are great. You always need that little bit of luck, and thankfully that's fallen for us so far.
So things move on then to the quarter-final against Waterford. You're 2-0 up. You score the opening goal. I've said this at the time, I was sitting in the stand. Greg Sloggett's pass is unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's the perfect pass for a striker. Tell me about your thoughts on that goal, because he's just put it into you and you just basically have to score.
Yeah, you said it. I didn't have a whole lot to do but put the ball in the back of the net. I think everyone on the pitch was saying to Greg, turn out, we'll try get it out the other side, but Greg just took a step in, and it was almost like everything just opened up for him. And yeah, it was just it was an inch perfect ball, and I just had to slide in and tap it home.
Yeah, I thought he was going to play a square pass, and he just opened up his hips and his shoulders at the last minute and played it kind of on a diagonal route into you, and you just have to sweep the ball into the net. And as a striker, if you can have fellas putting in cross like that for you, you'll definitely get goals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. I'm really grateful to have the players around me that I do at UCD, because if you have a look at the goals that I've scored so far, there's been no goal where I've had to do everything myself. Everything's been put on a plate for me almost, and I've just had to score.
What type of service? Clearly you like service that helps you get goals, but for example, the pass from Darragh O'Connor, quite similar to the pass from Greg. Do you like crosses? Do you like pullbacks? What type of ideal kind of chance will be created for you?
Yeah, ideally crosses. You know, I'm not the biggest striker, so airily I mightn't be as strong as some other strikers in the league, but I think anything on the ground or below kind of head height, that really suits me. Anything into feet, you know, quick link up play around the box as well. That's where I like to score my goals from.
The UCD style obviously suits you as well in terms of getting the ball into your feet. We spoke about different types of passes, different type of goals that you've scored. You must be really enjoying being the kind of main point of that attack, because the ball is ending up in areas where you can actually score from fantastic football kind of behind you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that was one of the main factors why I joined UCD in the first place, was because of the style of football that they play. And you know, the manager likes fluid kind of football and interchanges from the different positions, so I'm not stuck as a striker. I have the freedom to roam about, and you know, that's what I like. I don't like to be restricted in the way I play. Yeah,
we'll speak about your reasons for joining UCD a little later as well. So after the win in that quarter-final, you're into a semi-final, the draw is made on Soccer Republic and you're drawn away to Dundalk. What were your original thoughts when you saw that draw?
Great, what an opportunity this is. It's the semi-final. You're going to get any three of the other teams would have been a tough draw. So I think to get Dundalk, especially at Oriel, there'll be a great atmosphere. We're high on confidence, obviously, after winning the league. No one expects anything from us. But at the same time, we'd love to cause an upset. So we're going to go there and give it a really good crack.
Yeah, I've been, describing it as the champions against the champions, because Dundalk are all but League of Ireland champions again at the Premier League. You guys are League of Ireland champions of the First Division. So both teams will have a huge amount of confidence and are used to winning. You've won more league games in the First Division than anybody else. They've done the same in the Premier. So that should lead to, I think, a really good game. The fact that the two teams, players, coaches, everybody is actually very, very, in a run of really good form. Yeah, no, I think so too. As you said, both teams are in a good run of form, and I think both teams play really good football too, so it should be a good footballing game for the neutral. So yeah, no, it'll be really exciting, I think. I don't want any secrets, but the fact that you are playing against the best team in the country, do you have to tweak certain aspects of what you guys do, or is the previous match against Waterford a great example of, well, if we're actually going to win this match, we need to do what we've been doing in the First Division, and hopefully it works against a Premier team? Yeah, no, I think so. You're right there. We played against Waterford, who are as well a very good team. So there's a couple tweaks that we've had to make, as we have to make for every game, not just when we're playing Premier League opposition. But there's only so much you can focus on the opposition. The rest is down to us and what we do. So we're focusing on what we do best, and hopefully we can pull something off. What have you made of Dundalk from what you've seen? Yeah, they look like a very good team. I watched a bit of them earlier on in the season, and I watched the game against Cork last Friday, I think it was. And yeah, no, they look like a really strong team, almost like machines. So no, everyone knows it will be a tough game, but we're up for it. Yeah, we were just saying off air there, I watched them on Tuesday night against Derry City. They won 3-2, they were 3-0 up. Champagne football, I was just saying to you, they're very, very, very good. And they are very, very good, but I think they feel the same about you guys, and they will be treating this game, of course, with a huge amount of respect as well. But they're quite a good football team. They are, yeah. It looks like everyone knows their jobs. The manager has obviously drilled into them their different roles, and I think each player plays that role really very well. But as you said, I think we deserve respect also. We've done very well this season, and we have threats as well as they have threats. So hopefully we can, make use of our threats. Yes, the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast with Jamie Moore in studio with UCD striker Conor Davis ahead of the FAI Cup semi-final away to Dundalk this coming Friday at Oriel Park, which is live on RTÉ television, before the other game on Sunday, which is Bohs against Cork City at Dalymount Park. The one thing, Conor, I think that will work in your favour, your team, is the pace you have in the attacking area of the pitch. You're very quick, Neil Ferrugia is very quick, and Jay McClelland will likely be the other winger. He's very quick, and I don't think there's very many teams in the Premier League that have that much pace in the three front positions that Dundalk would have faced this season. You look at Cork, they've not got a huge amount of pace in that area. You look at some of the other teams, not too much, and I think that's something that Dundalk will have to be wary of, and I'm sure something you guys will look to use, because you three are very quick. Yeah, no, we'll definitely look to exploit the wide areas. Having said that, it's not just us three up front. We're very solid in midfield and in defence. I've said on previous interviews, I think the two centre halves, Liam Scales and Josh Collins, don't get enough credit for what they do. But again, going forward, it's not often that we won't score. So we'll be looking, of course, to score. Yeah, and to be able to have that pace, maybe if there's parts, occasions in the game where you're under a bit of pressure, to be able to play a longer pass and be able to turn them is something that I think you guys might be able to use, particularly if you're under pressure, because if they come to press you and your normal passing style maybe can't work so much, you've got that plan B. Yeah, no, that's it. I think they're obviously at home, so they'll be playing good attacking football. It might be that we have to sit in at times and look to hit them on the break, and I think that's where we can be dangerous, definitely. Have you played in front of a crowd as big as the crowd's going to be at Oriel Park come Friday night? No, I don't think I have. When I was at Reading, I went on loan to a lower non-league team, and we played against Hereford away, and I think there was a crowd of about 3,500. So
that was probably the biggest crowd I've played in front of, but I don't think the atmosphere will be anything like what it will be at Oriel.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the actual Oriel, crowd will be if it's full. I'm just going to check here and have a little look, because it says that the capacity is 4,500, and I would suggest that there will be 4,500 people in the stadium, plus another 500 who've snuck in or managed to get a ticket or whatever. The place will be crammed. Even on Tuesday night there was 3,100 there on a Tuesday night for a league game against Derry. What do you expect from the atmosphere? Because I put up a tweet on Tuesday night saying what an electric place Oriel Park is, and of course people tweeting back on how terrible the away end is, and I agree it's terrible, but it's just the old style of the ground, the way the main stand is so tall. It just, when people shout and clap in it, it just creates this electric noise.
Yeah, no, I agree. I played there once before, it must be 4 or 5 years ago now, not in front of a crowd at all. I'd say there was only a couple of hundred people there, but as you said, when people are talking and clapping, it sounds a lot louder than what it probably would somewhere else. So I think the atmosphere will be electric, but that's something that we look forward to. I think for me anyway, I love to play in front of a crowd, and it gets you going. Definitely.
Yeah, of course, and there was a great crowd in the UCD Bowl on the night against Finn Harps as well, and for the Waterford Cup game, your last 2 home games have had really, really nice attendances as well. I think if you were to flick the images of Oriel Park and the fans into black and white, it would look like the olden days. With the black and white and the way they all clap, it's just, like I say, I just like the atmosphere it creates. Does that change anything in the game for UCD players who won't have played in front of majority of you guys, because you're all students, won't have played in front of crowds like that? Does that add anything to it? You hear it more? You will hear it clearly because it's louder. Yeah,
I don't think it will add a whole lot. When we played against Waterford bought a decent crowd, and they were really vocal. But no, I don't think it will affect us too much. It'll be something to look forward to.
Of course, as well, and to look forward to the match itself as well. And clearly, you have to try and perform in the match and ensure that you give yourselves a chance to win it. What do you guys need to do to ensure that happens, that Dundalk don't take hold of the game like they have done many times this season against teams who on paper are better than you guys?
Yeah, I think first of all we need to be solid defensively, and that starts from me playing up front. We can't look to concede. We need to hold our ground, and I'm more than confident we can do that. And hopefully we can sneak a goal, and if maybe they might get their heads down, we can sneak another one. And you never know. It's the cup. You need a bit of luck, and hopefully we'll get that.
I love that. We're going to have to defend well, and it starts with me, and you're the striker. That probably, the attitude of this UCD team is very good, but that's a really cool thing to hear, that you're the striker, but you're thinking about, I need to actually help us not concede.
Yeah, no, I think that's it's really important for a striker to lead the line well, and that doesn't mean just scoring goals. It means blocking passes into midfield, pressing the centre halves, working hard, not just on the ball but off the ball too. Yeah, no,
they're very, very strong on set pieces as well. Their first goal on Tuesday against Derry was a corner and a fantastic header by Dan Cleary. Like I was mentioning to a couple of the guys in the press box just before that corner came in, the size that Dundalk have in the box, and Brian Gartland wasn't even playing, for example. You've got Patrick Hoban, who's scored 25 league goals, you've got Sean Hoare, you've got Sean Gannon, you've got Chris Shields. Like, they're a very, very strong threat, and I know you guys have faced the likes of Finn Harps this season and have been under pressure from that point of view, and that's something you'll need to be quite good on, because they're a big threat from that area.
Yeah, no, it will be. We've worked, especially in the lead up to the Finn Harps game, we worked on defending set pieces more than we usually would. We know their threats from set pieces, so yeah, we'll just have to stand up to that and make ourselves big, and yeah, that's it.
Are you looking forward to showing the footballing world in Ireland what UCD are all about? Because a lot of people don't see the first division. It doesn't get nearly enough coverage, in my opinion. We cover both leagues equally here because there's 20 teams, there's 20 sets of fans, there's 20 sets of people interested, in my opinion. But people have obviously seen you guys have won a couple of games, you've won the league, but are you looking forward to live on TV in front of a big crowd actually hopefully showing what you guys are all about and what the hype has been about, because you guys can back up that hype?
Yeah, 100%. As I said before, it's such a great opportunity. It's live on TV. There'll be a lot of people watching the game, so I think it's a great opportunity for us to showcase ourselves. We're such a young team, and there's so many talented players within the team. Everyone will be looking forward to showing what they have.
Have you dreamt of the final yet?
No, I haven't. No, I take one game at a time.
That's a cliche. You have, surely.
Yeah, I'll be lying if I said I haven't. But it's hard to dream about the final when you know you're going to be playing against the all but champions of Ireland. So no, I haven't dreamt about it too much. It would be amazing to get there, but it's a really tough challenge that we have.
It's a free shot though, isn't it? You can go there. If you lose, everyone expects you to lose. If you win, you're into the final. You can probably play with a bit of freedom.
Yeah, we can do now, and as well we don't have that added pressure of having a league title to win in the back of our minds. Going into the Waterford game, it was similar in the way that it was a free crack. No one expected us to win, but I think in that game we were I think we were a bit more confident that we can pull off something. They weren't having the best run of form. We were high on form, but this game is a little bit different again because Dundalk are really high on form. So yeah, it's more of a free crack, if you will.
Can't wait for it. I'm sure you must be so excited. How will the rest of the week work for you guys? You'll train Thursday, up on the bus for usual pre-match meal somewhere on the M1 and play the game Friday then?
Yeah, that's it. We'll treat it like any other game, train tomorrow, work through our set pieces. It will be a light enough session tomorrow, I imagine. And then up on the bus on Friday, pre-match meal. Everyone will just be calm before the storm.
Calm before the storm. Who's on the tunes in the dressing room and what will be on pre-kick-off?
I believe it's a playlist where everyone's picked a song, but since I joined I never got to pick my song. So
okay, and has that been in place since the start of the season?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, what song would you pick?
Oh God, you put me on the spot here.
I have.
I'm into my Spanish music at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So we'll probably want to be. I don't even know the names of the songs, but it'll be one of the Spanish songs anyway.
We're talking like Enrique Iglesias Hero type.
I don't know about that. No, I think it's more current.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, because this is a debate in every football dressing room. Who's in charge of the music, and half the lads are having it, half the lads aren't. So that's interesting that it's been a playlist chosen and everyone has a tune.
Yeah, no, I think it's good that everyone has a tune. It's funny though because it's just put on shuffle, and for some reason some of the dodgier tunes don't always make the cut on match day. So I don't know what's going on there.
Whose phone plays it, and are you suggesting that a few songs have been deleted off this said playlist?
I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's Yo-Yo Maddie's phone who plays it anyway.
Okay, nice. What was your song when on the bus, your first away trip? What did you sing?
Oh God, it
because
was...
Because for people who are, don't know, I'm sure you will, but it's the initiation song. So first away trip in the League of Ireland, the new players have to get up the front of the bus, get the microphone and sing to their heart's content.
Yeah, it was a traumatic experience to say the least. It was Broken Strings by Nelly Furtado. I'm not good in front of crowds speaking, so singing it was tough.
Well, you're speaking very well here, sir. What game was that? Because I remember seeing some Snapchats or some Instagram stories. Like you could have been quite good.
I think you stitched me up here because I actually didn't get. I don't think the lads remembered to make me sing after the first away game. It was actually against the hat-trick against Drogheda. It was my first hat-trick for the club, so that's where I had to sing. Okay,
nice. That's only a couple of weeks ago as well, so yeah, nice. Hopefully you'll be singing some celebration songs come 10 o'clock on Friday night. Very finally, Conor, just in relation to you, tell us your background as to how you've ended up at UCD as a footballer and also in college, having spent a number of years in England with Reading.
So I came to the end of my contract at Reading this summer. I was there for 4 years, so I was planning my next move for quite a few months before June, and I was thinking, do I want to stay in England and play at a lower level than the Championship, or do I want to move home? And I think moving home, there's a lot more exposure here for me than there would be at the level that I'd be playing at in England. So that was a big factor. So when I decided to move home, it was then a case of what team do I want to play for? Do I want to go to a bigger club where I mightn't necessarily play every game? Or do I want to go to a not so big club where I have the opportunity to play and get really good game time? And that's where UCD came into the fold. I knew a few of the lads at UCD already. So I text one of the players, Kevin Coffey, who I grew up with, and he gave me the manager's number, and I text Collie and asked him could I come up to train, and I was training for a couple of weeks at UCD, and it wasn't even before a couple of weeks that I realised that this is the club for me. the way they play, the fact that there's no egos within the team, everyone wants to push themselves and get better. That was one of the main factors. The education was a bit of an added bonus. For me coming in, I'm doing an access course because I left school after the junior cert. I didn't do the leaving cert, so I wouldn't be able to go in and do a degree straight away. So what I'm doing is an access course for a year, which if I do well in would enable me to go on and do a degree there next year. But I haven't thought that far ahead. Football's my main focus. Education's a really big focus as well, but we'll see how football goes first.
Yeah, the access course is very interesting. Explain to me a little more about that, and effectively what it allows you to do is it allows you to replace what you would have gotten the leaving cert to get into a course for a degree as such. Yeah,
that's it. So I do 6 modules throughout the year, and if I get an average GPA of, I think it's 2.6, which is a C minus, then I can apply through the CAO in Feb to do the degree next year. So it's a really good opportunity. I honestly didn't actually know too much about it. When I came to UCD, when I was still at Reading, I was studying accounting in my spare time, and I had passed a couple of accounting exams, and I was hoping to be able to use that to get into something at UCD. But when this access program came up, I thought it was a really good opportunity, and it's not a case where you have to pick modules that are similar to each other. You can pick whatever modules you want. So I'm doing accounting, economics and Spanish. So I always wanted to learn Spanish, so I think it's a really good opportunity for me to do it at UCD.
You are the third UCD player on the podcast this year to tell me that they're studying a language other than English, which shows the education in the pack, which is great. And interesting that it was you that approached the club to sign, that you actually had the balls to text a manager and go, "Hi, I'm Conor Davis, can I come up and train?" Normally, especially with lads coming home from England, it's the other way around, that every club is chasing them. So that's an interesting story, or an interesting part of the story.
Yeah, no, I think I've always been very independent, and it's my career, so I want to be the one who's in control of it, and if that means ringing about and asking to come up and train or to come on trial, I don't think there's any shame in that at all. I want to play at the highest level that I can play for, and whatever that takes, so be it.
Being back and playing senior football now, scoring goals, in comparison to being an academy player in the UK, and you are now home, and it is a path well travelled with Irish lads who go away with the dreams and come back to play here. What has that been like, and how in your head did it feel to have to come home, but you've come home and hit the ground running really, really well since you've been back?
A year ago, I wasn't. I wouldn't be too. I wouldn't have been too happy about the prospect of coming home. I saw it as a step backwards. I thought, if I want to play at a really high level, I need to stay in England because that's where the top players play. But as the months progressed, and probably since January this year, I realised that I was so silly to think that it was a step back. It's, if anything, it's a step to the side, if not a step forward, to get to where I want to be. The exposure here, like I said before, is so much greater than it is in England. Even in the 23s at bigger clubs, you don't get as much exposure as you do playing men's football in one of the top leagues in a country. So yeah, I was really happy in the end, and you could probably tell now I haven't looked back, and it's worked out really well for me.
Finally, Conor, what does the future hold apart from winning the FAI Cup?
Next season, I'm just looking to get really good game time. For the past 18 months, I haven't played a whole lot of games, so I need to play every game, and hopefully I'll continue scoring goals. And you never know, I don't know what the future will hold. I'm just looking forward to hitting the ground running next season. I'm disappointed that this season ends so early. I've only come in a couple months ago and the season's nearly finished, so I'm just looking forward to hitting the ground running.
So you'll be playing for UCD next year in the Premier League?
I think so, yeah.
Nice, that's great stuff. Conor Davis, thanks a million. Best of luck on Friday. We'll speak to you soon.
Thanks very much.